What up, KDMculture PH family? It's your boy Jack, aka VIP Accent, back at it again with another episode for KDMculture PH YouTube channel. And for today, just when you thought our interior mod was completed, I've gone ahead and got another type of mod. This time it's another type of light mod, I should say, for the vehicle, and I'm talking about ambient lighting. For those that may be or may not be familiar with it, it is the interior lighting that they do on the door panels, the dash, the footwells, door handles. It's usually on more of the fancy and luxurious cars that have these type of upgrades. And as you can tell, our car is just, trying to get there a little bit more. And these kits that I've got hopefully will suffice. So I'm not too familiar with the kits or how they're done, but I've done a little bit of research and I'm willing to try it out. So come with me. We're going to go in and try to do it today, again, with my buddy that does all my electrical, that sort of thing for the vehicle. I'll go ahead and go inside, give you guys a little quick breakdown of all the items, including on the kit that I'm going to be installing today. And I'll see you guys in a little bit, all right? Tune in.
Driving in this need, deep thoughts, just ride with me. Cruising over my KDM, don't say a word, just ride with me. Driving in this need, deep thoughts, just ride with me. Cruising over my KDM, don't say a word, just ride with me. Let's vibe.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Here we have the layout of the kit we are going to be using for the ambient lighting inside of our vehicle. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started first with these fiber optics. I believe I get a total of 6. There's about 45 of them that are the same length. Wait, it's not that one. I'll say these ones right here. And I believe these are for the door cards or the door panels. And then we have one long one that's for the dash or the passenger side. And then there's like a little shorter one here. I'm not sure if this is for the driver's side. And the long one is just sort of an extension towards the whole rest of the dash. So I'll have to figure that out later. Once again, this is just a universal kit. So we're still working with the universal items that they've sent us. But I did get these overseas as well, and we've got some footwell lamps, sorry. And as you can see, there's about, I would say about 3 LEDs each for each foot lamp. So I'm assuming this is pretty bright. They look like they got some pretty long cords as well. So getting to the front and the back of the vehicle, footwells shouldn't be a problem. And then we've got some really thin tape here. I'm assuming that's for the fibers here. And then we've got the control module boxes. Now I'm assuming this module box here is the main one because it is a little bit slightly bigger and separated. And then these are like the sub-control boxes, I'm assuming, that are going to be going inside of each door card or door panel. And this is going to be the main one that's going to be running everything, and these are just kind of connected towards this big one. Once again, I haven't done this yet, so this is just fairly my assumption. This is a power wire, I believe, for the main one, and this is the power wire as well. You can see this little button right here. I'm assuming to turn it on and off. And then we've got some cable connectors here. I'm assuming for the power for these module boxes. Oh yeah, I can see a small one right here for the ACC 12 volt. So I'm assuming that's the power ones for that. A couple of those. And we also have a storage lamp, but this is for the cubby holes on the side of the door panels. Now I'm not sure if I actually have a storage area for my rear seats, but if not, I've seen other people do it online where they just pretty much throw it on the speaker grill or something like that. And then of course these are all individually wired as well, which will lead onto this box, which will run another wire that'll lead onto this box. So it's quite intricate, but I mean it's a lot of wires, but I don't think it's that intimidating because it is already labeled. But then again, I'm not doing all the wiring myself, so It's a little bit easier said than done. I don't trust my my wiring skills just yet, so I'm gonna ask the help of my buddy again. And this is for the door handles, I believe. So they've got these little clear, what is this, plastic pieces that would probably go in. So I'm assuming you would probably have to drill a hole for the storage lamps and the handle lamps. And I believe this is the LEDs here, and then I'm assuming you stick this little plastic on there, kind of illuminate it. But yeah, there's 4 total here, 4 in there. So this is pretty much a whole kit. I believe when I got it, it did say 18 in one kit, because I'm assuming that's 4, 8, 12, and then the strips right there, total of 6, so that's 18 in one. So pretty much got the whole thing. So I'm hoping it looks good. I'm not really too sure about this yet, but I did see some stuff online, and it looks good from what I can tell. So I'm hoping to make this an easy installation and not as hard as the Starlight that we recently did on the vehicle. But other than that, yeah, I'll get to you guys in a little bit when we start hooking everything up, taking out the door panels, that sort of thing, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right.
Okay, and here we have a breakdown of the door panel. As you can see, we took out some screws on the corners to kind of loosen up the upper part of the trim, so that way we can kind of squeeze the fiber optic line through there, make it a little bit more seamless, make it a little bit more easier for us to kind of install this lighting, and we're going to try to do it as best as we can. Alright guys, here we have one of the door panels taken out of the vehicle already, and as you can see, we're getting everything ready, we're wiring everything up, trying to place everything and see where everything goes. And we've put one of the strips inside the door crack already, or the one side of the door trim already. As you can see, we try to do it as clean as we could, but it's a little bit tougher than it looks. We're just lining everything up and trying to figure everything out. And on this part right here, he's drilling a hole towards the storage lamp that we're going to be putting one of the lights on. So I had him use a rotary tool to kind of just poke a small hole in there. That's where we're going to be putting the plastic fitting on there, and then rerouting the light that it came with so that it shines through the cubby hole or the door panel sides where you put the items at. But yeah, here he is putting some sealant or some Loctite onto the plastic item that was included in the kit, so that way that's where we're going to be hooking up the light on. That way it's properly sealed and it's not going to be moving around anywhere. It doesn't get dislodged from the plastic trim itself, so it stays in place. He's just putting a couple drops on there to keep everything in place. And next, we're doing the door handles. As you can see, he's doing this at a certain angle, so that way the light kind of shines towards the door handle. We were talking about where initially it was going to go, but we decided this was the best spot, and where it would provide the most visibility or the most best lighting for the door handles as well. And of course, we're gonna go ahead and put some Loctite or some sealant around that plastic trim as well, just to make sure everything stays in place and it's being held tightly. And here we're trimming down a little bracket inside the door panel. Essentially what we're trying to do here is create a small area where we can put the sub control box, which is that little control box you see right there, and we're trying to wedge it inside that little bracket. So we gotta make some space for it, cut it a little bit so that way we can have it wedged in there nice and secure, and it's not hanging or dangling on the side of the door panel. And once we've got that secured, once we cut everything up, we're gonna go ahead and put all the wires together, get everything mocked up. As you can see, control box is already in there, wedged nice and tight. We've got the wires already hooked up, and as you can see, we've got the storage lamp hooked up right there with the light poking through the plastic trim. And of course, we've done that with the handle lamp as well that leads towards the door handle, obviously. And we've got it hooked up as well. Just kind of mocking everything up to put everything in its place before we throw it on the door panel. And as for the power, we have the power wires hooked up as well where it needs to be. And this is just for a mock-up. As you can see, of course, it has a red and a black, which is going to the power window switch that we're going to be utilizing for power. As for the light bar, that's going to be the one that's hooked up on the side of the door trim itself. That's the one we were putting throughout the whole length of the door panel earlier. And as for the power source, as I told you earlier, we're going to be utilizing the power window switch, as you can see right here, getting it prepared for putting the power in there and finding the ground wire nearby. And here's the door panel already attached. As you can see, we've got the light strip installed properly. We've got a little bit of a wire hanging out there, but we're going to tuck that in to make it a little bit more seamless. And on the inside, this is the cubby hole, the storage area. As you can see, the lights pointing inside, and of course we've got the handle light on the top over there as well. So far everything is going smoothly, and on the inside we've got the rest of the door panels, so we can do the rest of the 3 door cars or door panels. And for the front here, as you can see, we're kind of mocking up all of the other light bars or the fiber optics that we're going to be running throughout the dash. We've got the head unit taken apart already, so that way I can kind of mock everything up. And here I am just kind of testing everything to see where everything goes. Excuse the mess, but here we have the longest light bar that's going to be going around. I'm still trying to determine if I'm going to put it underneath or just below the head unit itself, since it's not that long and we have enough space for it. But here it is. We finally decided on where we're going to be going. I was kind of nervous on putting the sharp bends, as you can see on the edges there, where the control switches for the AC unit goes, and I just didn't want to crack the light bar on you know, and break it in half before I even got to installing the whole thing. But luckily I was able to kind of finesse it and just kind of form it nice and smoothly over the edge. It took us a little bit of work and a lot of wedging, and this is definitely a two-man job in my opinion. I was not able to do this by myself. And here it is, finished and completely installed for the dash at least. It still needed to be cleaned up a little bit, but for the most part we were able to kind of work its way through and just kind of push everything in. There's a little bit of wire exposed right there, but I'm going to be putting some black tape on that, some electrical tape. And on the side here we've got the little piece already hooked up as well. We're going to have to run the wires through the back of the fuse box just to kind of clean everything up, and probably install the module, the main module control, on the bottom of the fuse box somewhere for a cleaner install. Here we have the daytime ambient lights running. Just doing a couple of the modes, mostly the color chasing mode, to test out the colors that we have attached to the door panels. I've noted down that the door handle lights are also working fine, and of course you can't really see it that good since it is in the daytime. We've got the footlights working as well, along with the cubby lights. And here's another mode that I'm kind of just trying on. By the way, these are just for demo purposes. I haven't figured out which mode I'm going to be running yet, but for the most part I'm just kind of testing all the colors, making sure everything flows smoothly, the colors are correct, and they're as bright as they can be. Running the ambient lights towards the side of the door panels. But so far everything looks good, and I'm quite happy with the results. Try to take another shot for you guys during the nighttime, so that way you can kind of view it at a better angle as well. But as you can see, in the daytime it's pretty vibrant, right? And we're just doing some last minute checks here during the nighttime, making sure every door panel is lit perfectly fine. And that's pretty much it for this install. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is your boy Jag, aka vipcars, signing out for the KDMculture PH channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Waking up anew.